Hey, this is Solomon with the Mortgage Hub, and if you've just started your business, meaning 2 years or less, and you want to buy a home, we want to go over the details of what that would require. Okay, it's not something that comes up very often, but I do get that question from time to time, and so let's break it down into conventional and the non-traditional type route. If we're looking at a conventional loan, okay, there's going to be many limitations, so this is going to be extremely tough. But there's some examples where you can still get qualified, get approved for a mortgage with having less than a 2-year history. Okay, for example, if you've been employed in the same industry prior to starting your business and you were a W-2 employee, then that could be approved depending on a couple of specific things. So for example, if you're an electrician, let's say, and for 10 years W-2 and then you start your own business, as long as you have 1 year of filed tax returns under the new business, then that would be allowable. Okay, now one thing you got to keep in mind is filing 1 year tax return doesn't mean a full year of income, right? So you could have started it in October of that year, and then you have 2 months of self-employment. That's not going to get you there. You still need to prove, okay, you have a full year of, well, I guess you could use it, but your income would be, significantly less. Anything less than a year in a conventional side is just not going to happen. On the non-traditional side, even though, so the non-QM or alternative doc type mortgages, even though, yes, they are more flexible, and you would only really need to show for the income side of things in terms of income calculation, you would need to show 12 months of bank statements, right, under the bank statement program. But you would still need a CPA or something to verify, particularly, I guess, the CPA letter is going to be the most important one to confirm that you've been self-employed for 2 years, right? So just having 1 year of tax of deposits into your bank account is not going to happen, right? It's not going to work. So just to kind of summarize that piece of the non-traditional side or the alternative doc, yes, 12 months of bank statements. That doesn't mean that you can get away with not having some proof that you've been self-employed for 2 years. Okay. Now the other layer on top of that is that you also on the non-traditional side, so the alternative doc, non-QM type loans, you're gonna be required to at least put 10% down, right? So, and I have a video that goes into those specific guidelines, and I link that in the description. But there are going to be, certain restrictions on the non-QM side as well. So I think, bottom line, I think like the planning, if you're planning on transitioning from a W-2 position to, or starting your new business, I think figuring out, okay, maybe I buy that home before I, start my business, or in reality, if you're, it takes a lot to run a business, start a business, especially in the first couple of years, focusing on that for the first 2 years and just putting off the home purchase until, after 2 years would be, the smart thing or the advisable thing to do. And I know there's going to be some exceptions to that, and circumstances are going to be different, and we could certainly discuss those if you'd like. Schedule a meeting, give me a call, and then we can go into your specific details. But in general, unless you have on the conventional side, you've moved from a W-2 position into the same line of work into starting your own business, it's going to be very unlikely that that's going to happen. So, meaning getting approved for a mortgage. Okay. In any case, if you have any further questions and you want to discuss those, please feel free to give me a call. Thanks.